Hello and how's it going today, guys? Tomcat here, and we are back for another video in Off-Road Outlaws. Now, what you're seeing on screen right now is the truck we built last. It's our Ford mud truck that actually was a lot of fun to build. It was a lot of fun to build, it was a lot of fun to drive, and it just kind of was a monster. It was an absolute beast. And it made me wonder. How a longer wheelbase vehicle would do in terms of mud. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, which one do I want to build? I had this guy in mind. I actually had the Suburban in mind, believe it or not. I also had the... it's funny. I had the Range Rover in mind, and then I was like, nah, I don't think so. So going through, and this thing is weird because it's one of the only things I haven't built, and it's like, it's weird. It's like kind of it's a mixture of like a bowler and like a couple of other things. It's like kind of a strange rig, but the Hummer also stood out to me because the Hummer's just crazy, right? The Hummer is kind of that one vehicle that you're like, oh, that's, because it's insane. But the longest wheelbase ends up being this Chevy. And I've built one of these before, but I haven't built one as like a maxed out crazy mud truck. So I think what I may do is I'm going to build one of these as a mud truck, and then we'll see how it compares to something a lot shorter like that Ford. So let's go ahead and go into the customization, and we'll handle all of our body stuff. We'll handle the paint first, because the paint job, that's better than it was. That yellow is better too. Like, anything is better than that like weird color that it came with. Kind of like the orange. The purple is maybe, well, I mean, the Ford looked good in white, but I don't know if this thing actually pulls off the white that well. So I think we're gonna run this one in orange. I don't really do orange on any of my trucks, and I'm sure there's gonna be people out there that are gonna say you don't do any orange on your trucks for good reason because it's a terrible looking color. And I'm like, I'm gonna try something different, okay? So let's grab. Actually, why not just take the bumper off this time? Like, literally just delete the freaking bumper. Massive fenders, like, huge. Let's see. Rear bumper we need. I'm not going to delete that because that just kind of looks dumb if you delete it. Snorkel we want. Spare wheel, not really, because we're going to have such massive tires that it's not really going to matter. Let's see. A winch. We'll run one. A jack on the roof. Kind of not. Yeah, I don't think we're going to, because when a massive mud truck has to get pulled out, they just bring like an excavator because they know that like a high lift jack isn't going to go high enough. Let's see. Exhaust. Well, that kind of brings me to the question of yes or no to diesel. Kind of, well, hey, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Headlights will do white, and then repair pack, front bumper. Okay. That's about all I want to do to, like, the visual customization side. So let's do the wheels now. We'll do the fronts first. Kind of, yeah, those will work. None of the wheels, like, I wish this game had a bigger wheel selection. I really do, because I just, like, sometimes, man, like, the wheel colors, like, they're okay, but actually, that's kind of cool, but, like, and not the wheel colors themselves, but, like, the wheel selection, I would love for it to be bigger. I really would love for the wheel selection to be bigger. So, we're gonna go with, yes, we're gonna go with those, the ones we went with on the other truck. They look really good. It's a good-looking tread pattern. So, let's apply all of that stuff, and then go to upgrades, and all of this stuff gets completely built. All this stuff built all the way. Grip, weight reduction, power. We will do the diesel swap. Build the durability all the way out. E-brake on. I should say e-brake on. Just like install the e-brake, I guess. And then suspension-wise, I'm going to want Solid Axle Pro. There we go. I was like, where the hell did they put Solid Axle Pro? But no, we'll go back. There. Solid Axle Pro front and rear. And then we're going to completely build that all the way out, rear as well. And let's go back to the front. We'll handle the axis width now. Push it out to about there because we're going to be much wide. That's like a 0.5, and it may not seem that wide, but remember, we've got a lot of width to, to come with the tires. So there's a lot more we can do. And let's see. I wonder if we can kind of build this around, like if we were to build this around the wheels and tires, right? If we were to build it around the wheels and tires. So what happens if we go wheel radius max and wheel width max without that much lift, right? So let's go to the rear and max and max. So right now it looks like an Arctic truck, and it also doesn't clear the fenders, which is not going to work. So, I mean, the fact that it looks like an Arctic truck is really, really cool, but it still doesn't get rid of the fact that it doesn't clear the fenders, and we need it to clear the fenders. So travel is going to have to go, yeah, travel is going to have to go pretty far up. Let's see, it's still touching. So it basically has to be maxed out in order to clear. I mean, I kind of was hoping that wouldn't be the case, but it looks like it is. We're going to have to just go maximum lift. And I think, you know what? I am going to make the axis width a little bit wider. I'm going to push it to like a 0.7. It's going to be a little bit outside the fender, but I'd rather it be a little bit outside the fender than like kind of be just choked inside the fender, if that makes any sense. So shock size, right? Now, shock size is kind of a big deal with trucks this big, and I talked about this with the Ford. I don't want to necessarily max it out. Uh-oh, that's clipping through the tires. So that's about as big as we... Well, that's still clipping through the tires, isn't it? Well, no. Yeah, like I can see everything right now, but I think it's still clipping. I'm going to go with a 1.7, because that's like... That's seems to be the farthest I can go. In the front, I can go as far as I want and not have them clip. I can have them go to a 3 in the front. And, I mean, that does look kind of goofy, so we'll put them at a 2 in the front. So it's like a 1.7 in the back and a 2 in the front. Although, you know what? Screw it. I want them matched. I just want them matched because reasons. So we'll go do that. And then I want to say damping, let's see. Damping up a little bit. And because tuning these is kind of weird. So let's see, front damping up a little bit as well. And now we pretty much, or should pretty much, have a ready-to-go mud truck. We just have to go and try it out. Now, this is also a diesel mud truck, so it's going to be a little bit different, but here you can see it next to, well, kind of next to the Ford, and it's a lot bigger. I mean, it's huge. It's absolutely massive. And to be fair, like, I cannot wait to get this thing into the mud and give it a shot. So, let's see what this thing can do. And, dude, like, whoo! Alright, so there's my four-wheel drive. No diff lock yet. When it goes, it goes! Alright, there's some mud right here that we can put it into right off the bat. Kind of goes like it's a lot less dramatic than the Ford. The Ford would do wheelies and all this other crazy stuff. This just kind of like gets it. It just goes through the mud. No big deal at all. Try and diff lock now. Yeah, it does not bring the front wheels up at all. I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong. It works, and it works really well. But it does not bring the front wheels up whatsoever like the Ford did. Even if, I wonder if I put it in low. I wonder if I put it in low if it would. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't do it at all. I was kind of wishing it did because, like, when the Ford wheelied for the first time, I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's badass. But, I mean, hey, for this thing to just be completely and totally non-dramatic at all is still fun because you just know it's going to get through the mud no matter what. Like, it'll just go, and it'll devour anything and everything in its path. And I think that that's a really cool characteristic for it to have. I mean, if you want a, you know, extremely reliable mud truck that'll go through anything, this thing might be the truck for you. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, no, let's see what happens if I hit the mud at, like, with a lot of speed. A lot of speed. Oh, we could try that here. Oh, it just kind of sinks. Oh, that's boring. I was hoping for a lot more than that, but I was like, oh, that's boring. E-brake it around. I love doing that. I love doing handbrake turns in big mud trucks. It's so hilarious because it's not supposed to work. Yeah, it just loses a crap ton of speed. It almost acts like it wants to wheelie as it's coming out of the mud, but it can't. Probably because the wheelbase is so long. Oh, I tried to fix that. It was like, nope, I'm not having it. Yeah, it's weird because it feels more like, everything feels like it takes more effort for the truck to do. And that's, of course, because it's bigger, right? I mean, anything, you know, anytime you have a bigger truck like this, any kind of, like, mudding or even really, what the heck happened there? But any kind of mudding or climbing a hill or anything like that is going to result in, is gonna result in the truck having to do more work because, especially, you know, when you get into stuff like wheelies, I mean, the truck is so big. It's so big that, and it's so really, it's a much longer wheelbase, so it can't, you know, it can't pull the front end off the ground that easily. But for a reliable mud truck and like a mud truck that's just fun to drive, this thing's awesome. I mean, it's like, and it's almost kind of cartoony to drive, but I love it for that reason. So if you guys liked this build, don't forget to click that like button. Tell me in the comments below what y'all thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time, and I'll talk to y'all later.